Thank you for jumping on the Potter Buchanan show. I really appreciate it.
Heck yeah. I'm so excited to be here. This is so fun.
I know. Similar to the last episode, I think the person I had on I hadn't talked to for 10 years. It's probably been longer for us, like 15. I don't even know.
I definitely haven't like seen you in person in at least 19 or 20 years, which is disgusting to say out loud because I don't know when we became this old, but
I
yeah,
know.
it's very long time.
Old and washed. But I
Yet we
appreciate,
like look exactly the same, which is crazy to me.
yeah, we look excellent and we're doing great. So the reason I wanted to have you on, like I've been following you like on social media, even though we haven't known each other. Like I've I've seen you. Like I'll watch when you do a story sometimes that's like it's got like 800 of the different little dots just
Oh,
moving
my
along the top.
regular rant, my
Yeah, a
rants. Yeah.
rant. I'll watch an entire rant sometimes. Like I'll be watching a game, but I'll also have the rant on. So I've enjoyed a lot of those very much. But like I'm curious, like I don't know, the reason I started this podcast, like I got laid off from my job. So I want to talk to different people doing different things. So like what I've seen you say like you're not an influencer, but you do have a decent following. You do things influencer-esque. I know you have the restaurants. You wrote a book. What is your title, Katrina?
Dude, that is like a really great question. I struggle to have like a singular one word answer there.
Yeah.
Instagram makes you pick something if you have like a business page, and I picked entrepreneur just because like mocktail queen wasn't available.
Yeah.
But I really like, I don't know because I am a restaurateur. I am a non-alcoholic consultant. I get brand deals with non-alcoholic brands and beyond. I wrote a book. I am a mom. I am a homemaker. I'm a homeschooler. So it's like, I don't know. I'm just like everything.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's weird. It's very weird. But like I introduce myself differently depending on which scenario I'm in. So if I'm at a bar specifically having been asked to be there to promote their non-alcoholic business, then I'm there as a non-alcoholic consultant. And if I'm at a writing event, then I'm there as a author. Like, you know what I mean? And then people will be like, "Oh, so what do you do?" And here's this long list of my ridiculous life.
Yeah.
So, entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur, I think, is the catch-all. What was the
With the air quotes, though.
what was the start of it? So we grew up in Swampscott, North Shore kids, and then you meet your husband in college, go to PA, and then like restaurants first, or how did this story go?
The story is long and nuanced. I wanted to be a journalist my entire life.
Yep,
That was my plan, and I became the editor of the Swampscott Reporter, which was our
I know.
hometown newspaper, and just got really burnt out, like really, really burnt out. I was living my dream at 22, but I worked 70 hours a week and was ripping lines of Adderall so I could stay awake. And I just went into my boss's office one day, and I talk about this a little bit in my book, and I had a mental breakdown. And he's like this guy in his 40s. He has his life together. And I'm just this 22-year-old girl. I'm like, what should I do? He's like, you should quit because a job is not worth your mental health. And I was like,
Yeah,
but what will I do if I'm not this person that I've spent my whole life thinking I would become? And he's like, I don't know, something else. And it was just such a profound moment because everything had been so linear for me. It's get the grades, go to the school, get the job, well, get the internship, then get the job, then get the promotion, then, get the awards and all of this. And no one in my entire life had ever said to me, like, you could just quit and do something else. And it was so liberating to hear that. So I did, I quit. I went to grad school. I got a degree in public relations. And at the same time, my husband, who was my fiance at the time, was building a company. And he was like, I need help. I need someone who can, write and do a website and handle communications and do all my public relations. Can I hire you? And I was like, no, I'm busy. I'm going to go work for a public relations firm in Boston. And I did, and then ultimately he came back and was like, "Please come and work for me. It'll be so fun. This will be great." And I was like, "I'll give you a year. 1 year. You can have 1 year, and your company is gonna flop before the end of that year, and I'm gonna go back to work."
very
And he's
nice. Very nice thing to say.
well, it just is what it is.
It's true.
But he said, he's like, "I can't do this company."
Right?
Sure. Anyway, so he's like, "I can't do this company in Massachusetts. We have to move to a different state. Will you move to a different state with me?" And I was like, fuck it, sure, whatever. What do I got to lose? And we eloped and we moved to Pennsylvania, which was like major culture shock. And we did this company. We did it for 7 years. And would you believe me if I told you that it was a gun holster company? I ran a gun holster company for 7 years.
No, I thought it
Nah,
was something restaurant related, a gun
no,
holster company.
no, it was so random. And if you told me in high school, like, hey, just so you know, you're going to run a very successful firearms company for 7 years of your life, I'd be like, that's a straight up lie. That's a lie. But
Yeah.
that's what I did. And then the pandemic happened. And the state of Pennsylvania effectively said it's against the law for you to operate unless you're an essential company. So we didn't operate and then essentially couldn't move forward. Like there was no way to move forward from that. And we had just had a baby, and my in laws were really pressuring us to move back to Mass. So we did. And we're kind of at this point in our lives where we're like, what are we going to do? What are we good at? I don't know what's going to happen with the pandemic, if we're ever going to be able to get back to owning this company. Everything was shut down. Like we couldn't get supplies, we couldn't ship things out. Like it was a nightmare. And we just had this what are we going to do with our lives moment. And we both looked at our skills and we both looked at our backgrounds, and we both have backgrounds in restaurants. Like my dad was a chef. His family has always been in restaurants. We've both worked in restaurants, like high school throughout college. And we both just kind of felt like this is probably the next step. And there was this really cute dive bar. We were living in Haverhill, Mass at the time. There was this really cute dive bar on our street that had been there forever, and they closed down during COVID and ultimately ended up having to sell. And one day we were just like, what if we bought this restaurant? What if we bought this restaurant? And it wasn't a dive bar, and we turned it into like a destination for downtown Haverhill, which downtown Haverhill was going through a revitalization, and like better restaurants were coming, better stores were coming. And the long story short is we got the restaurant and we turned it into something amazing. And North Shore Magazine actually voted it the best new restaurant north of Boston that year,
Wow.
which is really cool. It was really a really special thing. And then we got bought out by his family and we were like, let's open another restaurant. So we did. And then we were like, let's expand and open another restaurant. So we did. And in looking for expansion opportunities, we wanted a second location of one of our restaurants. And we remembered Pittsburgh from when we lived here and we loved it. And our daughter was born here. And we were like, let's put it in Pittsburgh. So we got into this contract of putting it into a food hall here in Pittsburgh. And then at the last minute, they were like, hey, why don't you put a second restaurant in here too? So we did. And then along the way, we opened a catering company and it's just been crazy. And now it's been almost, 2-ish years since all that. So we moved back here 2 years ago and are just like full time in restaurants. And it's just chaotic and crazy and busy. And then I also wrote a book in the meantime.
Yeah. You found time to write a book amongst the children as well. How many kids do
Yeah.
you have now?
I have 3
I
kids.
thought it was 3. Yeah.
I
So
have
that's an insane workload just alone in its own right.
And I think the key here is that, like, parenting is not hard if you don't do anything else. If parenting is your main job, it's doable. But if you're
Yeah.
parenting plus running a company or, trying to have a life, that's when things get really, really tricky. But if you can just focus on one, you're good. But I can't focus.
Yeah. So the restaurant, I mean, so the restaurants are doing well. What kind of food do you I've seen some shots on the gram. What's the menu
Yeah.
of choice?
So we had an Italian restaurant. We decided to move on from that. We had a catering company that was doing like heritage style meal prep. We decided to move on from that. So now we're just all in on one restaurant. It's called Loaded. It did have a
Yeah.
location in Massachusetts, and we like to call it anything but traditional. It's basically what we've coined American fusion. It's essentially like you take some other cuisine, like let's say Italian or Korean or Japanese, and you mesh it together with American. So you're getting like a kimchi smash burger, or we took Korean corn dogs and put like Big Mac flavors on them. And it's just weird combinations of different cuisines and different cultures to create something totally different and new. And it's really fun. It's not Michelin stars, like it's corn dogs,
Yeah.
we just wanna have a good time.
Yeah.
So
No. For sure. What's the best thing or your favorite thing on the menu?
So my favorite thing we actually don't offer anymore because it was a supply chain issue. But in Massachusetts, we used to offer a corn dog that was battered in ramen pieces. And then it
Oh,
had
wow.
a Japanese aioli, scallion, and sesame seed on top. And it was like, when I tell you the best munchy food ever, it was unbelievable. And I'm just obsessed with it. And I would bring it back any day if I could.
Well, you still can't get it? The supply is still down? What is it? The scallions bringing you down?
It's a specific ramen that we need, and
Oh,
they
okay.
don't sell it, like, in the capacity that we need it sold. We'd have to go, like, to Market Basket and buy it, and that's just, like, not feasible. You don't wanna just, like, go to the store once a week. Like, you need your shit delivered and all that. So,
Nah, 100%.
logistics.
What was the so that's like a big leap. You go from gun holster company to did you take money from gun holster company and put it into the restaurant? Like, how was that?
No.
Or
Nope. We walked away in the hole, because essentially we had a ton of orders, we couldn't fulfill them, there was nothing we could do but, like, give people their money back and just press pause. So, no, we went with family investments,
okay,
and Anthony, my father-in-law, was involved and my brother-in-law was involved. And then when we left, my husband Anthony has 3 brothers, so only 1 was involved, and when we left, the other 2 got involved, and so the 3 of them owned it after we left.
okay.
So then we took that money and rolled it into our own restaurant, and then we took that money and rolled it into another restaurant, and then took that money and rolled it into another restaurant, if you catch my drift.
I'm getting the drift now. Well, just because it's a that to do that and go out on your own and create a restaurant, there's stats like isn't it like 90% of restaurants fail? So like just
Within
knowing,
the first year. Within the
yeah.
first year.
So
Yeah.
just knowing that up front, I mean, it's a big risk, but glad it worked for you.
I mean, I think you could say that about anything. Any
Uh-huh.
single decision that you make is the biggest risk you will ever take because you have
Yeah.
absolutely no idea how it works out. You know, you got to be willing to take the risk or you're just going to be repeating the same life year after year after year. You know, and I think that's what's really exciting about being an entrepreneur is that you never know what's going to come next. People ask me what's 5 years from now. I don't know, man. I might be living on an island in Italy. Like I could be manufacturing soccer balls for all I know. Like anything is possible. And that's both the most exciting thing and the scariest thing in the entire world. But you get this like adrenaline rush from it and you kind of just like can't stop. It's a little bit addicting. So
No, yeah.
it's
I
a
think
problem.
forging your own way is the way, especially now with like the job market. Like there used to be jobs that were secure. Like I'll just go work in tech for X and make X and it'll be fine. But like that's not even it almost like doing your own path. It's not safer, but I mean, you might as well try it now because it's not like things are getting better out there
Yeah.
in the job market.
That's the reality, you know, is that nothing is secure anymore. And people used to always make fun of us and say, like, you know, well, what will you do if your company doesn't work out? And I'd say, well, I guess I'll go back and get a job just like you
Yeah,
know, I
yeah,
guess I'll just be living the same life that you live. Like,
yeah.
people are afraid to take risks. They're afraid to put themselves out there. And I think a lot of people are living lives that they're very unhappy with because they wish that they had the balls to go out there and do something on their own, but they're too scared to step away. Hi. My husband just got home.
What's up?
You want to say hi?
Sure.
He looks so tired. We're talking about restaurants.
Oh, okay.
Anthony, this is Potter.
Hey, how's it going?
Potter,
Uh,
Anthony.
I'm doing good. Could you hear me there?
No, you
No.
got cut off.
I got a call from Ryan Nash. I should have
Just
silenced that.
now.
Yeah, I did.
Oh my God. I would love to talk to Ryan Nash.
I should have brought him on.
That would be funny as hell.
I know. So, you're doing homeschooling all day as well. So your day kind of never ends. And we're doing this at night, which I'm
Yeah.
surprised you can stay awake
You know what's
because
really funny is last night at like 9:15, I was like, I gotta go to bed. And Anthony was like, don't you have that call with Potter tomorrow at 9? And I was like, yes. I don't know why I said I would do it at 9 o'clock.
I know it was wild, but I was like, whatever.
You gotta make it work.
I'm wound up after like the kids go to bed anyway. I need like to just come down and even if it's just stare at a wall for like an hour. like that's what I do.
Well, I loved how you were like, "Oh, good for you getting your kids to bed early." My kids go to bed at 4:30, 4:30, and I let my oldest stay up late today because tomorrow's her birthday. So,
I've
like,
seen that. 4:30. How is that possible? That's on like some Tom Brady, Mark Wahlberg, your kids' circadian rhythm type thing.
yeah, it's all them. It's all them. I had one baby, and every day since the day she came home from the hospital, she woke up at 4 a.m. And we were like, what is this? This is not working for us. And we fought it. We fought it. We fought it. One day we were like, what if we just go to bed early and get up at 4 when she wants to get up? What would our lives look like? And it was a lot better, like a lot better. And then we thought when the second baby came along, like, oh, maybe we'd have to change things up. No, also wakes up at 4 a.m. Third baby comes along. Surely we will change things now. No,
Yeah.
also wakes up at 4 a.m. And I'm not saying wakes up like groggy. Like they wake up and they're ready to run a marathon. Like, what's for breakfast? What are we doing today? When are we going here? Where are we go? Can we pick out our clothes? Can we get dressed? I'm like, I woke up a minute ago. I don't know the answer to all your questions. Please let me breathe. But they're ready. So we just,
What's he making?
of course, this motherfucker is like, let me use a very loud appliance in the background of this.
You gotta eat. He just got home.
It's just leftover queso. But yeah, so we leaned into it and we were like, you know what? Let's just go for it. They need 12 hours of sleep at this age. You go to bed at 4:30 now. You wake up at 4:30. Like the youngest wakes up at 4:30, then the others get up at 5:30. So,
So they're living on a different planet from the rest of us out here, essentially.
but they're thriving, man. Like their
Yeah.
lives are epic and like I would kill for the kind of childhood that they have. So, it
No,
works. It
I'm not
works.
saying it's bad. It's just like they're just on a different plane, and it probably works well for you guys as well.
You know,
Like,
I will say, I don't know what I would do if my kids went to bed every night at 7 or 8 p.m. Like, where is the adult time? Am I supposed to stay up until 2 just to
yeah,
have a life? Like, no, no, thank you, not for me.
it's quite impossible. Stick with
How
what you're
many kids
doing.
do you have?
I got dose boys,
And how old?
3 and 1. So we're doing the gauntlet
Mhm.
over here.
Yeah,
What
you're
a
in.
Yeah, we're in.
Anthony, could you be louder? Is it possible? Like, could you just a little louder? We can't hear you. Thank you.
We got magic audio on this. We can cut out that background.
Perfect. I mean,
This
Lord
app that
forbid, you know?
that didn't work 5 times. So what do you teach them in school? You do like a real lesson plan? My concern, if I had to do that, I just like, I don't know anything. Do you ever have that?
No, I know everything, Connor. I'm the smartest fucking person in the world.
Is that what you have to tell yourself before the lesson plan?
There's no lying here. I am genuinely the most intelligent
The most
person.
intelligent person? Okay.
The
We'll put
most.
we'll put that in the headline of the
So we've got our whole calendar built out for the entire year. We've got, I mean, this is my year. This is my whole year right here.
I like
Everything
that.
is planned the F out. And then I've got week by
Did you
week.
did you make all this? What grade is this for?
No, I didn't make all this. I bought it. And then I printed it out and I punched holes in it and I put it in a little
Well, it
binder.
looks good. What
Well,
grade am I looking at right here?
so this is for everyone. So let me get this out
Okay.
because I could be in there forever. The point is, our philosophy on parenting and on school is very alternative
Yeah.
to what we've been told we're supposed to be doing. But I followed the path that I was supposed to follow, and I still ended up here as an entrepreneur. I did everything right. I got the grades I was supposed to get. I went to the school I was supposed to go to. I got a master's, for Christ's sake, and I still made $27,000 a year. So something ain't right here.
Yeah.
And Anthony and I had always talked before we had kids that if we had kids, we did not want them to go to traditional school. You know, where you and I came from, Swampscott's one of the best rated schools in the entire state of Massachusetts. Anthony came from a district that is very low rated. And yet we both had the same experience. His experience was, I hate school. I hate sitting there. I want to learn about the things that I want to learn about. Mine was, I hate school. I hate sitting here. I hate learning about the things that I don't want to learn about. I want real applicable skills, you know? Like there's that meme that goes around every year that's like, boy, sure am glad we learned about parallelograms because it's helping me out immensely during parallelogram season.
Yeah.
Or like, can't do my taxes, but I can sure as hell play you hot cross buns on a recorder. You know, it's silly little things like that that makes you really question the traditional school system. And when you start looking into the history of it and, how school was originally organized as a method for control and a method for creating workers, people who follow orders, people who follow directions, people who sit still, ask permission to use the bathroom. You're creating people who don't think for themselves and don't question the system. And that's what essentially keeps the machine moving. And all it takes is someone standing up and saying, like, I don't know about that. I don't know if that's like really the way I want to go. And that was us. We were just like, this is not the way that we want our kids to be raised. We want them to question. I had, God, I don't even know how many detention slips. I had Saturday detention almost every single week because teacher would say something and I'd say, well, why? Well, because I said so, which was such a like that generation thing, because I said
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, cool, but like, let's get to the bottom of that. And you're told, no, be quiet, sit still, listen. And it just squashes all of your creativity, all of your, cognitive thinking and your ability to ask questions and think outside of the box and create solutions and just be the creative being that you were meant to be. And we wanted to do something different. So we started questioning the school system and looking into it. And the more research you do, the more effed up it becomes. And then it's like once you see it, you can't unsee it. And, homeschool's not meant to replicate school. It's meant to be something totally different. And that's what we've created in our home. And the other important thing is this is early education. My oldest is in first grade. So, like,
Yeah.
we don't need to be doing major stuff here. Like the state, when you homeschool, each state tells you what you have to teach. Some states don't tell you at all. Some states don't even care. They don't even want to know if you're homeschooling. But Pennsylvania is very similar to Massachusetts in that you need to register when they reach a certain age. You need to send in your curriculum. You need to do all of your standardized testing and all of that, and then follow the guidelines for what specific subjects need to be taught at which grade, which we do. But we do it in our own way, So if we're learning about geography, our version of geography is, well, we live in the city. Let's get on the bus and go somewhere. Look at the map, figure out where we're going. How do we get there? How many blocks do we have to walk?
Oh, I could have used that.
Yeah. It's
I
great.
really
It's
could have
real
used
world
that.
stuff.
Yeah. Well,
So,
because I've actually never delved into, and there's online about every like system, how it's broken, how it was created. I've actually never looked into the school system and kind of what that is. And yeah, it makes a lot of sense, especially when they're young. I mean, they're supposed to be creative. You're not supposed to sit at a desk for
yeah.
whatever, 7, 8 hours a day.
Well, for boys especially, early education is the time where testosterone is peaking. And this
Yeah.
is a lot of the time when people will be diagnosed with ADHD because, well, why can't you just sit still? Because testosterone is surging through their body. They're meant to be out playing and running and jumping and taking risks. And yet the system tells them they must sit still. And essentially, when you start looking into everything and doing the research on it, you realize that everything is just completely backwards, completely
Yeah.
backwards.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And you will see it like growing up, where kids who end up being successful after, and they were just never really meant to be there. Like we all
Yeah.
know them, like people that
Yeah.
we grew up with. They have a creative outlet or something they do after, which was never fed or never taught, and it was just like you said, like, can you please play the recorder, please?
Please play me hot cross buttons.
Play the recorder. Like, why? Why was the recorder? I don't know. That's
It's so
very odd.
But then,
Uh,
technology is a huge piece of it too. Like technology is just so invasive in terms of how we're raising our children today. And we don't agree with that whatsoever. We are a no technology household. We don't even have a TV. And that's a choice, by the way. Like I could own a TV if I wanted to.
I would think you're a successful restaurateur entrepreneur.
No, but like people will be like, oh, she doesn't even have a TV. She's so poor. It's like, no, this is a choice. This is a lifestyle choice. But, we don't do tablets, we don't do iPhones. And then people would say to us, like, well, what are you going to do when they get to school? Well, I'm not going to send them to school so that they can sit on a computer all day long. I'm not going to have, a tablet sent home so they can do their homework on it. I'm not going to have them go hang out with their friends who all they do is sit on their iPhone and do TikToks. It's like, you're 7. You should be dirty in the grass
Yeah.
playing with bugs. It's childhood. They deserve a childhood, and kids today aren't getting one because technology just takes it all away. So
Yeah.
that's a huge push for us as well towards the homeschool thing. And as they get older, I don't know what we'll do. We'll see how the world changes. But for right now, it works really well. Like, I'll take my kids out to a restaurant, all 3 kids by myself, and they can entertain themselves and have great manners. And meanwhile, 2 tables over, there's kids on iPads who are having absolute meltdowns before the appetizer even hits the table.
Yeah.
And the reality is that, it's like a drug. Once you give them an iPad, it's a constant dopamine hit. And when you take it away, it is literally withdrawal. So if you
Yeah.
just
It was
never
made. Yeah.
introduce it, then it's much better. So,
Yeah, it was made to addict adults, first
right.
off. Like, you can't even tell what it does to a brain of that
It's
age.
They've done
I'm proud.
studies on it, and it's literal heroin. It's literally heroin.
Yeah, my wife listened to a book. I forget, I think it was more on social media, but also phones as well. I forget who the author was, but yeah. But it's just, it's intuitive to me. Like, I was listening to the book and I was like, yeah, like I have a phone and I understand how addicting it is
It's
because
so
I'm addicted to my phone. Like
same.
in a, like I'm just trying to do something. Like I'm trying to watch a sporting event and I'm just scrolling. It's like, what are you doing? And I'll toss it to the other side of the couch.
Mhm.
So like to a developing brain, like it's just complete scramblation on
You know
impact.
What's really cool, I'll give you a great example that just happened tonight. Because we let my daughter stay up late because it's her birthday tomorrow, I let her watch a movie on my laptop, which we never do. But I was like, "It's your birthday, let's celebrate. We'll stay up late, we'll watch this movie." I get a text halfway through the movie, and it's a long thing I'm trying to explain to somebody, so I'm on my phone for a couple minutes, and my almost 7-year-old looks at me and she goes, "Do you, like, need to be on your phone right now?" And I was
Yeah.
like, "No, I don't. You're right. Thank you so much for holding me accountable." And I take my phone and I put it away. And it's like, she's smart enough to know that, like, is this a necessity right now? We're watching a movie.
Yeah.
But because she doesn't have that in her life, she sees it as, this is weird. Why are you on your phone? We're supposed to be together right now. But that's not the majority of people today.
Yeah. My 3-year-old will call me out every
I
now
love
and
it.
then. Like, Dada, what are you doing? And it's like, nothing important, son. I will put this down.
I love that.
Mindless scrambling. Yeah,
It's, like, so
we
hurtful when they hold us accountable, but it is honestly one of the best things ever. Love
yeah.
it.
Yeah, we do I mean, I got TVs. I got TVs everywhere, but we've done no iPad, which I'm proud of,
Good
and
for you.
never a phone in a restaurant, so I'll hang my hat there.
Good for
They
you.
they do well in restaurants, I would say overall. I mean, you just bring the diaper bag, couple toys, mix it
Yeah.
up, and
Yeah.
plus they love eating, so it's just like get their food first, then they're good. It's a survival
And
game, but
it's
we do
exposure
pretty well.
therapy. Exposure therapy. The more you do it, the more they learn how to function in society with other people. And
Yeah,
it gets easier and easier every single time.
yeah. All right, we went deep on that one. All right, let's do
All right,
book.
sorry. Keep
Go.
me
No, it's fine.
focused.
It's whatever. I mean, I can cut this all up, chop it up. We'll see what happens.
Well, I can talk for the rest of my life, Potter. So
Yeah, no, yeah. You do have the gift of gab there, which is good. It's
sorry,
funny.
man.
I love talking to people, and then like I also get mentally gassed really quickly. I have a weird like split personality with that.
I-
Going in dry. That's the name. Did I say it? Oh, you brought it. Let's go. All right. So, how long did it take you to write this? You were journalism originally. You are like, how long
Yes.
was this on your brain? And then how long before it came to life?
It was a really quick process, honestly. So, for a little bit of background, I traditionally write thrillers. I write murder mysteries. I have not yet published one. I have started several. I have gotten very far with several. I have never finished. And this is like years we're talking. Like, I have one book I've been writing for 10 years and I just can't finish it. This took me 3 months, like, start to finish. I could not
Wow.
stop. It was so quick, it was so easy, and I think the best part of it is that it's just authentically me. It's like this conversation we're having right now, except I wrote it down. Like all of my weird quirks, all of my mannerisms, all of my F bombs, it's all in there. And so many people have said that in reading it, it sounds like you're talking to me, which is exactly what I wanted. And I
Yeah.
think because of that, it made it so much faster, so much easier. So the writing process was about 3 months, and then we fast tracked the editing process. I used a lot of my old colleagues and friends in the industry to just, go through it, edit it as quick as possible. We turned it around in a month, and then uploading it and everything to the publishing platform took about a month, photography and all of that. And then it came out in July. So it was pretty quick.
Yeah. Uh, did you have like contacts in publishing since this was like what were you going to do? Any originally going to do? Like, did you know that process or was that like something
No, it
to,
was 100% new.
yeah.
100% new. I credit my husband with it. So the book is actually self-published through Amazon's publishing platform,
Oh, great.
um, which is not a me thing. I know nothing about it. I don't know how it works. I don't know how to do it. I don't even know how to like log into my account and see how many copies I've sold. My husband does all of that. Thank God. Anything related to taxes and math, like, nope, it's not for me. No, thank you. So he really just, I don't want to like sound like a weirdo, but when I tell you that my husband can literally learn anything, he's that annoying person that just is like, oh, I think I'll take up blacksmithing. And next
Yeah.
week, he's like the #1 rated blacksmith in America. Like, that's just who he is and what he does. And it's obnoxious and I hate him for it, but it comes very, very much in like, it's very handy. So he essentially watched a ton of YouTube videos, did a ton of research on Reddit, did a ton of research on different publishing websites. And he was like, okay, I think I know how to do this. And then just did the whole thing.
Yeah. I'm the exact opposite of that type of person. So I also
Same.
dislike him very, very much for that. Not in general, but like,
We once took a sewing class together, just like as like a fun thing when I was pregnant. And I have sewed my whole life. I used to make American Girl doll clothes. It was like very much my like hyper fixation. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to be so good at this. I'm going to be so good at this. And the teacher comes around and she looks at mine. We're making like a pillow or something. And she's like, no, not quite. And then she looks at
yeah.
Anthony. Anthony has sewn like one thing ever in like home ec 20 years ago. And she's like, now everyone, look at this. Look at this. And holds it up as an example. This is exactly what I want to see from all of you. And she's like, he's an expert. He's been sewing all his life. And he's like, yeah, yeah, I've been doing that. And it's just like, you, like, you're so annoying.
Did you want to stab the pillow?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I would think so. So the book
Um,
goes from like, is it your early drinking career to when you stopped? Is that what it covers?
so it covers it all, everything.
Yeah.
Every little dirty detail about my life that you probably didn't want to know, but like secretly
Yeah.
you were like, oh, that sounds like fun. I want to know that. It's in there. So we start in the very beginning. It's part memoir, part guidebook. So you're getting the whole first half of it. It's two sections. The whole first half of it is like, how did we get to where we are today? And we're starting this journey with talking about how alcohol culture is essentially ingrained in us from day one. At your first birthday party, your parents are having a beer. You've got the fridge in the garage that's stocked with beer. You've got just parties and things that are going on. Your parents have a liquor cabinet or whatever. It's there. And you're seeing people celebrating with it. You're seeing people unwind with it. You're seeing people go through life with it as an ever present thing. That's where the normalization starts. So we talk about that and the normalization of it from my childhood. We dive really deep into my super fucked up childhood and how my parents are like the most awful people in the entire world. That's not true. They're not the most awful, but they're pretty awful. And, who they made me into essentially. And then
Yeah.
how that struggle and that trauma just led to drinking, because nobody ever talked about their feelings in my house. Nobody said, like, this is what you're experiencing. This is why you're feeling that. Let's work through this. It was just shut up, get out of my face. And you really learn at a young age to cope with what you're going through by getting drunk or getting high because you don't naturally like reach for it in that. You're not like, oh, this will fix my problems. You just go to a party and you get drunk and you realize, wow, I feel pretty good about this. And I was happy the whole time. Or, you get high and you're like, wow, my anxiety went away. This is great. And you just keep chasing that feeling over and over and over, and everybody else is doing it. So why would it possibly be wrong? Right. And then you keep that pattern going to the point where you're now an adult and you have no idea how to cope with your emotions without relying on an external substance. You can't handle being upset. You can't handle being stressed. You can't handle being sad. You need something there to take the edge off. And it's so relatable because we've all been there, but we just don't realize it. And at some point, I just was like, I don't feel like doing this anymore. Like, I never considered myself an alcoholic. I never hit rock bottom. This was literally just a choice where I was like, I don't really feel like it. So I just stopped. That was it. I just stopped. I didn't go to AA. I didn't get a sponsor. I didn't,
Yeah.
read any books on how to stay sober. I actually really didn't even consider myself sober. I just was like, I just don't drink. And as time went by, like I had said earlier, I never once missed it. I still to this day, like we were talking about how I have alcohol bottles on my shelves, never once tempted ever. And I'll have friends over and they'll have their bourbon or their gin and I'm happy to serve them that. Like I have no problem with it. I've never wanted to have a sip of it. And it's just a different life. It's just a better life. But I think there's a lot of people out there who don't realize that alcohol isn't serving them. Right? So it's not necessarily that you have a problem. It's not
Yeah.
that you're an alcoholic. It's just this serving me in the life that I want to live. And when you really think about it, and the book helps you get there because there's journal prompts and there's guides, and we're digging deep to figure out why are you reaching for alcohol? And then you can apply it to other things like, why do I want to get high? Why do I do like, am I doing these things? And you're going to get to know yourself through this book. You're going to get to know me, and then you're going to get to know yourself. And then you're going to basically come to a choice. Can you keep going? And are you happy with the direction of your life? Or is this something you want to change? Let's change it together. I'll show you how. So it's for everybody, honestly, for anyone who has ever woken up hungover and been like, I wonder what life would be like if I wasn't hungover right now.
Yeah, Sunday, I wondered what it would like. I went to Mohegan Sun on Saturday, and it's funny because like you do the sober curious. Like I've always been sober curious. Like I understand. I'm self-aware, and I understand like what alcohol is. It's a short-term band-aid. It's fun, but is it worth like the back end struggles? And the part isn't even really hangover. It's the anxiety that you feel that you don't know what it is. The following like three, especially when you're older, like this following 3 days, it's just
Yeah.
lingering like behind you. It's like a ghost. And it's like, and then you feel so good, so good. Like Thursday, even if you only drink one day when you're an old person like me, like it comes around like Thursday, Friday, it's like, wow, I'm back. I feel great. But like, no, I think a lot of people get to that point in different ways. It's good you didn't have to wind up face down like on the street, like in a puddle
Oh,
before
that
you
happens
did.
like 20 separate
Well,
times.
yeah, but there wasn't a specific puddle where you were bleeding where it was like, this is it. It was just like, I've had enough, you know?
Yeah, it's really all it was. And you should read the book. I think the book it'll resonate. But the point is that, you learn when you don't drink, you learn so much about yourself because you're uncovering why. Why am I drinking? Oh, I just like to have fun. So you don't think you're fun?
Yeah, I
What
think I'm
is
fun.
the story there? Where does that story come from? Who told you you weren't fun? What are your self-conscious moments that are holding you back? I'm just as fucking fun as I am now compared to when I was drunk. Like I never lied about who I was when I was drunk. Like this is exactly who I am, drunk or not drunk. And sorry to everybody that hangs out with me because it's a lot to deal with. But, I think there's just a time where you have to get to know yourself and you're missing a lot of it, even if you're having an occasional drink. So I challenge you as an experiment to just read the book and take it seriously and actually like dive into it. And I'm so curious to hear like, does it hit?
Maybe we'll do episode 2 after I read it. I'm reading Killers of the Flower Moon right now. It's my
Oh,
third book of the
nice.
year, which was maybe the only goal I will keep from the beginning of the year if I can finish a third book, which seems like not a lot of books. But
Any books is dope.
any books is dope. Yes, I
It
would agree with
is.
that. But I'll put it next on the docket. I mean, why not? I always do. One thing I always do is, speaking of sober curious, is dry January. So I like to feel great for 1 month out of the year, and I've been doing that
Love it.
forever. So that that could be the time.
That's
What?
perfect.
Yeah, no, I think it's it. What's the last thing I wanted to ask you? The mocktail meetup. So those are fun. You think no alcohol, people are still buzzing, they're having a good time.
Yeah. So I created the mocktail meetup group essentially because nothing like it existed. We have a really cool nonprofit here in Pittsburgh called the Teetotal Initiative. It is specifically geared towards people who are in recovery, and people who are looking for support, looking for connection, and just as much as I love that group and have worked with them before, it's just not the scene that I needed. I don't identify as someone who is in recovery. I don't work a program, like I said. It's just something I decided, and I figured there had to be more people like me, people who still like to go out to the bar, people who still like to socialize and club and dance and go to parties. They just don't want to drink, and there was nothing like that. I didn't know how to meet other people like that. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just start it myself. So I started that, and it was just a monthly meetup where we just go to a different bar every month, and each bar was like a pre-vetted place where I had seen that their non-alcoholic menu was great, and we would help them
Yeah.
promote it and introduce people to all the places in the city. And there are a lot that have really great mocktails. I don't want to go to a bar and they're like, oh, well, we have Shirley Temples. What am I, 12? No, I want a fucking cocktail. Just don't put the liquor in it. Like,
Yeah.
make me something, wow me, dazzle me. You're a bartender, for Christ's sake. And as someone, who works in the industry, that's like, I know what it takes to do it, and it's not that hard. So let's get it together here. And there was this really cool movement where everybody in Pittsburgh, all these bars and all these restaurants really put a focus on having an stellar non-alcoholic menu. And it's been really cool to see in the past uh 10 years, essentially, things have really, really blossomed. And just about everywhere you go, you can find like a really good non-alcoholic cocktail on the menu. And there's all kinds of non-alcoholic spirits, all kinds of there's everything. Like this one that I'm drinking right now isn't even a spirit. It's just like a functional alternative. It's like,
Yeah, you've shown that a bunch. Is that a sponsor right there?
no, not sponsored. I just like it.
What is it?
So this is Three Spirit. It's like a botanical, like adaptogen drink.
Oh, I've gotten into
And
the adaptogens a little bit. A
I'm
couple
loving it.
recesses. Yeah.
Yeah, Recess is great. Trip is
Yeah.
another brand that I really like. But there's so many different products on the market now that it's kind of like, well, why would I go back to drinking? There's so much that exists, and it's so fun. And a lot of these brand sponsorships that I do end up working with, they'll send me the product and they're like, make us a mocktail, figure out a mocktail, post about it. And it's fun. It's like you can come up with anything.
Yeah. No, it's really cool. And it goes along with the book, your lifestyle, and everything. And I think maybe going to a bar, if everyone else wasn't hammered, might, because I'll go out like sober January if I'm not drinking for the weekend and you're with the boys. And then if they're all hammered, it honestly, like you always say, like, I'm just as fun. Like, it's just not as fun. It's because you're with a bunch of hammered people, you
So
know?
the circle around you changes. I will say that. I
Yeah.
changed a lot of my friends, but it's also there's that saying, if you hang around four fat people, you'll be the fifth. If you hang around four drunk people, you'll be the fifth. Like you are the sum of the people that you surround yourself with. And sometimes the circle that you have has to change because you're going places that they just can't go. They can't
Yeah.
come with, and that's hurtful and that's hard, especially if they're relationships you've had your whole life. But sometimes you honestly just like don't realize how the people around you are affecting you. So, yeah, I don't really do that. I don't really hang out with people anymore who are just like super trashed.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's different, but I also feel like it's an age thing. I'm 37. I don't really want to like go out until 2 a.m. and
Well,
then
it's
like hold someone's
yeah.
hair back while they throw up. Like it's not
Well, it's
it's not a vibe for me. I want to go
yeah.
to a nice dinner, a really nice dinner, and then I want to go out to the club and dance, but like don't throw up on my shoes, And I
Yeah.
want to be home by 12. I want to be in my pajamas.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you always I get kind of, I mean, we're up late right now.
This is
I
sweet.
get I get kind of like nervous when I'll cuz I'll watch Monday night, Thursday night football and it's getting to like 11 and I'm like, "Dude, you're going to and not drinking. Like you're going to feel this on the back end." But I think for like I agree with your sentiment like you are who you surround yourself with. I mean, I'm just talking about we're all dads now essentially. It's like a group of dads getting drunk. It's not really like we all have jobs. I think we could all learn something from the book and not do that, and have a productive time. But I think, especially as you, to speak to any like younger people, like I think quitting as you're like growing as a young person and in your career could be like one of the most valuable things that you do. I mean, I'm at where I'm at now, like started a podcast. Yes, like
I
we'll
love it.
probably work some tech job at some point, but I'd love to just talk to people for a living. But I think if you could do it in your formative years, like if you could get to people early, and what's good is less people are drinking. There's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like coming on now in waves. Like people are seeing online just how actually, besides like hangovers, like doing things you regret, like how actually awful it is for you. It's really bad. So I think the
Yeah.
culture is changing around that for
It
the
is.
better.
Gen Z is really pushing hard for change there. They are drinking less than any other generation, which I think is so cool. And it gives me a lot of hope for like by the time our kids grow up, what will alcohol culture look like? Because it's changing. It's changing. More people than ever are not drinking, like
Yeah,
ever in American history.
I know. It's crazy. Do you worry about that for the sales of your book? You probably want alcoholism to go up if they're gonna purchase.
I honestly, if I never sold another book, I really wouldn't care
No.
because it, it, it's one of those things where like I put it out into the world because I know there's at least one person who needs to read it. And if that one person has already read it and I never sell another book, I've done my job. Like that's
Yeah,
it. That's all that matters to me is that it helps one person.
yeah. It was probably cathartic for you, and it's awesome because you wrote a book.
Yeah, it was super cathartic. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself. And I don't know. I'm an open book. I've always been an open book. Like, I'll tell you my deep, dark secrets. I don't care. And I think it's kind of funny now that, like, it's on paper forever, you know?
Yeah.
And,
Well,
like, someday my kids will pick it up and read it. And it's like, oh, wow, mom was a badass.
yeah,
But yeah, like there's like dirty, dirty stuff in there. We talk about sex, we talk about all kinds of fun stuff. There's some really fun high school stories in there. So
I have to
it's a
pick it
good
up
time.
just for that. Just for that,
It's a good time.
I was there. Maybe. Uh, th-
You don't
th-
remember. I don't remember. Who
no, I don't.
knows?
I don't remember any of it. All right. I forgot this one thing. So the controversy. If you're having a party, this is one rant I really like. If you're hosting rant and you
Yes.
have to have the non-alcoholic options, I don't
Yes.
even want to quibble with your point. I was gonna get into the weeds. So if you're hosting a dinner and you know you're having people maybe like former alcoholics, non-drinkers, yes. Also for a barbecue, Diet Cokes and seltzers do not suffice. That was my big question.
Okay. All right. So, yes, the history of this is I went viral. I had 2 million views on a
Yeah, you
reel
were
that I created from a hospitality standpoint. That is the key here. This is
okay.
someone who works in hospitality telling you the standard etiquette for this particular thing in hospitality. I'm not saying this is how everyone does it. I'm
Yeah,
not saying it's open for interpretation. It's literally there is an etiquette that exists, period. Follow it or don't. So, in the etiquette, essentially, every guest, when you are hosting, every guest should feel equally welcome and unburdened, right? As a host, you never want to have a guest who feels like a burden. That's like a huge no no. You should
yeah,
go above and beyond to make them feel comfortable. So, my point was, you may not know if somebody is trying to cut back on alcohol. And there's a million different reasons. It doesn't necessarily have to be a recovery type situation. They could be pregnant and they're not ready to tell anybody yet because that's nerve wracking. They could be on a medication and I don't know, it's an STD medication and maybe they don't feel like telling you that. And there's a
Interesting
million different
scenario. Okay.
reasons. Well, I'm just saying, like, there's a million different reasons why somebody isn't drinking that particular day. And for you to put them on the spot and make them feel unwelcome because of the choice that they've been given is rude. Period. It's just rude. And my scenario was that if you're serving margaritas, okay, why do the non-drinkers get a Diet Coke? You got a margarita. I like
Okay.
margaritas. Why can't I have a margarita? It should be equal treatment for both segments of the population. Now, that's not to say you have to serve margaritas. I didn't say that, but that's where people got real upset. Well, if I have to serve a margarita and I have to serve this and now I have to go and serve that too. No, no. It's your party. You decide what you want to serve. If you only want to serve Diet
I'm
Coke, cool. Everyone gets a Diet Coke. But if you want to serve margaritas, then you, according to the etiquette, should have an equal counterpart for people who do not drink. So a non-alcoholic tequila. And some would argue that non-alcoholic spirits aren't good for people who are in recovery. Okay, great. So just make a mocktail margarita. It doesn't have to have fake tequila in it. It's just the equal treatment that is the etiquette.
okay.
That was
So
the point.
that's the point. All right. So
So if
I'm
you're
seeing,
making margaritas, have a
yeah.
non-alcoholic margarita.
So yeah, I kind of see that. So if you have a specific drink, like we make, like usually a party, like a big sangria, have the non-alcoholic sangria with it
Yeah,
to
or
pair.
what's even easier is you batch your cocktail without the liquor and you put the liquor on the side so that anyone can add it if they want to. Instead of having to have two separate versions, you just have one and then they put the liquor in themselves.
There you go. What if it's just coolers? I got a beer cooler, I got a soda cooler. Is that cool, or do you need any beers in there
I
too?
think you should have NA beers. I like
Okay.
beer. I like the taste of beer. I want an IPA with my burger off your grill. Why do I
Yeah,
have to drink a Diet Coke?
people
What am
do
I, a
like that
second class
pairing.
citizen? Am I a peasant, Potter? I can't have a non-alcoholic beer at your barbecue?
Yes, yes. I don't know in my fictional post-alcohol life that might exist someday if I would ever drink a non-alcoholic beer. I
They're
think about it.
so good. Some of them are so good.
They have tons
So
of them
good.
now. Like so
Oh
many
my gosh.
companies make them. It's crazy.
So many. We have a really good brewery here in Pittsburgh. It's called Two Phrase, and a big segment of what they brew is non-alcoholic. And I tell you, if you put an alcoholic one next to a non-alcoholic one and you took a sip of each, I swear, I don't think you can tell the difference. Like, that's
Yeah,
how good it is. Some of them are trash. Some companies are like, how can we make money? Let's make a non-alcoholic beer, and it's trash. But you
like
could say the same
anything.
thing about beer.
No, 100%. I mean, I drink crappy beer. I also drink good beer, so it depends on where I'm at.
I think we've all drank crappy beer.
Oh
So
yeah. Oh yeah. All right. I
but
got
yeah, the
nothing left
point
for
is
you.
yeah, okay, cool. Yay.
Oh, well,
This
no,
was fun.
final point. If you're
No, I was just
serving,
gonna say the point is be considerate, you know?
be
I don't think
considerate.
you're going to Martha Stewart's house and she's like, "Margaritas for everyone, Diet Coke for you, peasant."
No, Martha's not the Queen Martha, but
Right. So
and we
we
should
should
all
all
strive to be
strive.
more like Martha. We'll leave it at that.
Exactly.
Strive to be more like Martha.
Be more like Martha.
Thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Sorry that I can talk for the rest of my life about everything.
It's all good. Maybe we'll do it again. You can talk more.
Love it. Well, good luck. I'm so excited to see what you do with the show.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, hopefully we do big things over here. We're working on it.
I love it. Keep taking risks.